The gods of Norse mythology did not fear Loki because he was a liar or a trickster. They feared him because everything connected to him ended in destruction. His children were prophesied to kill the gods themselves. His choices slowly pushed the world toward Ragnarök, and in trying to stop fate, the gods may have ensured it would happen sooner. This is not the story of a villain born evil. It is the story of how fear, prophecy, and control created the very end the gods were trying to avoid. According to Norse mythology, Loki does not begin as an enemy of the gods. He first appears as a companion, clever, sharp-tongued, and useful. He travels with Odin, jokes with Thor, and repeatedly saves the gods from disasters, often using his intelligence rather than strength. Yet Loki is never fully trusted. From the beginning, his story is not one of sudden betrayal, but of a slow transformation shaped by fear, exclusion, and fate. In the myths, Loki is born to the giants Farbauti and Laufey. Giants represent chaotic and uncontrollable forces of nature, standing in contrast to the order the gods attempt to maintain. Loki's birth among them makes him an outsider long before he ever acts like one. Despite this, Loki forms a close bond with Odin, and some sources even describe them as blood brothers, a symbolic oath that allows Loki to live among the Aesir in Asgard. Yet he never truly belongs. He is not a god of strength like Thor, nor a god of authority like Odin. Instead, Loki survives through intelligence, adaptability, and deception, constantly changing his form, role, and identity whenever it benefits him. Throughout the early myths, Loki repeatedly helps the gods, often after causing the problem himself. When Thor's hammer is stolen, it is Loki who recovers it. When a giant threatens to complete the walls of Asgard, it is Loki's interference that prevents disaster. When legendary treasures are forged, it is Loki's provocations that make them possible. A pattern emerges. Loki creates chaos, then fixes it. At first, the gods laugh. Over time, they grow uneasy. Loki's cleverness begins to feel dangerous, not because it fails, but because it works without restraint. Loki's divided nature is reflected clearly in his family. In Asgard, his wife is Sigyn, portrayed as loyal, patient, and enduring. With her, Loki has two sons, Narfi and Vali. Sigyn rarely speaks in the myths, but her actions define her. She remains loyal to Loki, even when he is abandoned by everyone else. Outside Asgard, Loki forms a union with the giantess Angerboda, whose name is associated with sorrow and foreboding. From this relationship come 3 children feared across the cosmos: Fenrir, Jörmungandr, and Hel. These children are not feared for what they do, but for what prophecy says they will become. Loki's boundary-breaking nature appears most clearly in one of the strangest stories in Norse mythology. When a giant is building the walls of Asgard, Loki interferes by changing his form to distract the giant's powerful stallion. This act leads to an unexpected consequence: the birth of Sleipnir, an 8-legged horse later given to Odin. Sleipnir is described as faster than any other creature and capable of traveling between realms, including the world of the dead. Once again, Loki solves a problem for the gods, but leaves behind something unnatural and unsettling. The myths describe Odin receiving a prophecy that Loki's 3 children with Angerboda will play central roles in Ragnarök, the destruction of the gods. Rather than destroying them, Odin attempts to manipulate fate. Fenrir is raised among the gods, but when they realize he cannot be controlled, they bind him with magical chains, destroying his trust forever. Jörmungandr is thrown into the ocean, where it grows until it encircles the world itself. Hel is banished to the underworld, where she rules over those who die outside of battle. Each action is meant to prevent destiny, and each one ensures it. The moment Loki crosses from disruption into betrayal is the death of Baldur. Baldur is loved by all. When dreams foretell his death, the gods attempt to protect him. According to the myths, Loki discovers the single weakness left unguarded and deceives Baldur's blind brother into delivering the fatal blow. With Baldur's death, trust between Loki and the gods collapses completely, and Ragnarök is no longer distant. It is approaching. After Baldur's death, Loki is captured. The punishment described in the myths is severe and tragic. One of Loki's sons, with Sigyn, Vali, is magically transformed by the gods into a wolf. In this state, he is forced to kill his own brother, Narfi. Narfi's remains are then used to bind Loki to a rock as part of his punishment. Above him, a serpent drips venom onto his face. Here, Sigyn's loyalty becomes central. She remains beside Loki, holding a bowl to catch the venom. When she must empty it, the venom strikes Loki, and the myths say the earth trembles from his pain. When Ragnarök finally arrives, Loki breaks free. He leads the enemies of the gods into battle and confronts Heimdall, the guardian of Asgard. The two destroy each other. At the same time, Loki's children fulfill their roles. Fenrir devours Odin. Jörmungandr kills Thor, though it dies shortly after. And Hel releases the dead to join the final conflict. Loki does not survive to rule a new world. His role is not inheritance, but destruction. According to Norse mythology, Loki is not simply evil. He represents intelligence without restraint, resentment born from exclusion, and the danger of attempting to control fate rather than accept it. His children become instruments of prophecy. His wife endures suffering she did not cause, and his story ends not in victory, but inevitability. This is not belief or theology. It is cultural memory, a reflection of how the ancient Norse understood chaos, consequence, and the limits of control. And through Loki's story, they expressed one final truth: that fate cannot be avoided, only faced.